They tell me you're a man with true grit.
What do you want, girl? Speak up at supper time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the latest episode of True Grit here at the Done Right Studio in Davenport, Iowa. Got two great guests tonight. I'm proud to say Cary Brown, driver of the number 81, in studio with us tonight, and Bryan Ritter. Welcome, guys.
How are you doing?
How are you doing tonight?
Pretty
Thanks
good,
for
man.
having
How's
us.
Father's Day?
It was actually great.
Good time, huh?
Yep.
Yep, it's good.
Hey, I got a new gas grill. Do you guys get any booty or anything like that, or what?
Actually, my daughter came in town before she went back to South Carolina. She's a travel CNA nurse, so
Oh, Bryan.
I got to see her yesterday, and she got a jack for me for the garage for the race cars. So
All right.
that was nice.
Well, hey, before we get rolling with you two, we got a couple of things we're going to talk about. First up, we're going to talk about Donnie Schatz picking up his 300th career win at Dubuque, Iowa in sprint cars. And then Friday, June 25th at Davenport Speedway. That's coming up this weekend. We're going to have the Sprint Invaders on hand. So, hey, if you're a wing sprint car fan, Friday night, the place to be is going to be over at Davenport Speedway. Now, this last Friday night, Hoker Trucking SLMR. That was Friday, June 18th. Justin Kai picking off the win. Started 15th, drove that thing all the way to the front. Looked like Spencer Dirk's 50-lap feature was going to pick off the win. With about 12 to go, Kai got going on the bottom, and Dirks was right up there on the cushion. But Kai got by, and I think Spence followed him the last dozen or so laps. Couldn't get within more than 2 car lengths, and Spence come home second. Jason Haney, the number 76, come home third. Charlie McKenna, the number 22C, come home fourth, and Chad Holliday rolled home fifth in that one. So, hey, coming up, like we said, this Friday, June 25th, we're going to have the Sprint Invaders. And then coming up July 1st, we're going to have the UMP Summer Nationals at Davenport. So make sure you mark that thing down on the calendar. Rest of the results from Friday night, IMCA Mods, Travis Denning picking off the win. That beautiful red number 27 car. Sport Mod, the Candyman, Jared Franzen picked off the win, the number 33. Street Stock was Tony Von Dresky, because Cary Brown wasn't there because his motor smokes. And then finally, 4 cylinders was Dustin McGann. So before we get rolling with the guests, we're going to take this moment to talk about tonight's sponsor. Thank you again for today's sponsor here, Done Right TV, for supporting the True Grit podcast. Done Right has a wide variety of products and services like dirt racing, pay-per-view, or the retail store with television, internet, video production, smart home, and security technology. More on Done Right in a little bit. We're located right here at 1414 West Locust Street in Davenport, Iowa, and we'll talk a little more about that later on. So, Cary, Bryan, hey, race season's here. You had a little trouble with an engine that was smoking, and boom. We didn't get to see a race last Friday night. What's the story on the car getting all tuned up and ready to go racing again?
Well, we put it together last year, and we knew it was wore out a little bit, and we were just trying to save on the budget, and obviously it didn't work out in our favor, but it was running good and everything. Just kind of one of them things where just got a little smoky for the other drivers, and we had one in particular that didn't like it. But, that happens, but it's out, and we're gonna get it worked on, and hopefully I'll be back within the next couple of weeks with
all right,
maybe a backup motor in there.
Make sure and send that other driver a letter. Let him know you got the smoky problem cleared up. And you're gonna be
I'm
back.
sure he'll know.
Yeah. Bryan, what about you? The number 0 car. You were out a couple of weeks ago. Did you run last week?
I've been racing like a month now.
Yeah.
I broke my open motor, and then ended up working out a deal with my friend Jeff Struck, and then I got a new sport mod that is another Von Dresky one, Sniper chassis.
Yeah.
And just been waiting on a part for the carburetor. Carburetor plate, and even if you went to go buy a carburetor, it still take just as long. So hopefully it should be here soon and ready to go. And got a crate motor now, so that'll be a little different. But
and you guys have had real good luck with those Von Dresky cars. I mean, that guy Tony just amazes me that year in, year out, that is a chassis that you want to be running.
It's just I think he's just a guy that is just that people want around. He's I mean, I wouldn't be anywhere where I'm at without him helping.
He's a great guy and a great friend, and he'll come
got a great girl behind him that puts up with his long days. Lindsay's awesome too.
Lindsay's awesome.
But, Lindsay knows how to work on race cars too.
Yeah, I want to let you two know, Joe Bonney has texted in. He said, "Hello, Shane, and hello, cheaters." What's that all about?
At least he don't want to fight today.
Oh, that's great. Hey, we're going to go back to the days we talked about it a little bit off studio. The Dirt Track Mafia. Cary, tell us what that was all about back in the day.
It started, just got out of the trophy trucks and got a street stock. And the building next to me, Todd Dykema's dad, had a landscape shop there.
Okay.
And he was helping me at the time. And
there we go.
Basically, I got a street stock, and he had helped me a few nights, and he said some friends were coming, and it ended up being Ritter, Terry Renfro, Todd Dykema, Keith Silvers.
Yeah.
And then Phil Anderson ended up
in
there, and they helped me for about 5 races at the end of that year. And then I think that winter, everybody went out and bought cars and pointed the finger at me. I was the one that got in trouble with everybody's wife. But and I think somebody joked around once, and because we had 8-10 cars in the pits, and they're like, "Oh, we don't want to mess with this gang," and it just ended up being a joke. And somebody said, "Yeah, we're the Dirt Track Mafia," and then somebody, I don't know who it was, I think Todd Dykema drew a logo up one day with some flames, and we thought, let's throw some money together. We made shirts, and I think we sold a couple $1,000s worth of shirts.
Oh my God!
And it was it's more a bunch of friends that are racing together, and
we were all in different classes.
Yeah.
At first.
Yeah.
And then Todd and Terry were in B mods back then.
Right.
And I raced a 4-cylinder first year, and that was a lot of fun.
Sure.
But no comparison when you get into rear-wheel drive street stocks. So.
Yeah.
And we were racing 3 days a week.
Yeah,
Davenport, Maquoketa, and
Dubuque.
Either East Moline. But then the one year I think it was 2009, we all decided to go to Dubuque every week for the whole season. But a lot of fun.
What about Cary? You've run those trophy trucks. They're a thing of the past, but every time I see Francis out there, it was his. I think it was his grandfather used to run up in Tipton, Iowa all the time, and he had an orange truck, number 33, and they called him the Flying Farmer. And I remember the guy, every time he'd come off turn 4, he'd wave to the crowd. And, and here's Jarrett, I believe he'd be his grandson that's out there racing now, carrying on that Franzen racing tradition. But did you like the trophy trucks? Was it economical?
Oh, it was awesome. I remember that's how I got into racing. I happened to see an old high school friend, Dean Anderson, and he said, "Yeah, me and my brother Dan are racing." And I went up, and their dad was building their motors at the time, and I helped them the whole season. At the end of the year, they're like, "Hey, you want to drive it?" And I've never left the racetrack since, and I think that's been 19 years ago.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, the trophy trucks were great. I mean, you literally put gas in them and charge them the night before. That was kind of my kind of racing.
Yeah.
Charge it the night before and go racing. And, of course, back then there was nothing stock about the trophy trucks. I mean,
come on.
If you build a 383, the next guy's building a 421. And
how do you like that?
It was a great class.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so fun.
Hey, I want to let you know you can listen to us on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook. Facebook, go to the Done Right TV page. Make sure and share. Hey, if you're watching right now, share it with your friends, and that way we can increase our viewership, which is what we're all about. If you're following us on Spotify, make sure you turn on your notifications so every time we have a new show, it'll notify you. And make sure to like us on YouTube. So that's that. So we're looking at a couple of cars here right now. So we're looking at the number 81 car. Now, are you still running that car, or is that thing long gone, Cary?
That one's long gone.
Okay.
I've seemed to have been on a trend where I find a car that somebody's had and had great success with. They might have beat it up a little bit, but I've always kind of jumped into a real nice car, and always wanted to get into a sniper chassis. So
Is that the car you got off of Rob?
Yeah, I think that was Rob Henry's old car there.
Okay.
But I finally got into a sniper. I've got actually a 2009. It's a little older than everybody else's car, but it seems to run pretty good. Even though it's bent up, it's been bent more times than you ever. But
name Christine,
there you go.
It's hurt, but it still can hang.
Still can hang.
Yeah.
All right. Now, who's that 76 over there?
Yeah, that's my first street stock. I bought that off Kevin Schlomer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And had that for a while and Got a couple big wrecks in it, and it's probably like a new Hyundai now. It's in a junkyard somewhere. But that car was a good first car for sure.
You know, Brian, you too, you and Cary Brown both, you always had nice looking cars. And that's one of the things that, you know, I think racing as a whole, you know, you look out there at the street stocks now, and I mean, we got some nice cars. I mean, you know, back in the day, they just get a paintbrush out and, you know, slap a number on it. Now, today, with the wraps being what they are, they really nice. Make them look good.
And actually, the wraps kind of, I don't know, they make the body a little stronger. It's easier to pound the dents out, too,
sure.
It seems like.
Sure.
I think we've always, one thing I like is we've always prided ourselves, we've pretty much done all of our own work. I mean, obviously, we have other people do, like, the engine stuff, but anything with, I mean, myself and Todd Dykem, we bought a welder and a brake off, I think, Dominecki years ago, and we still to this day, all Ritter and all of us, we make our own bodies right in the garage, and I don't know, it's kind of put stickers on it. You can't tell it from the good ones.
Jake Lund's the pink 88.
Yeah. Hey, we got what do we got? Sandy Lamar on here saying, Cary, keep the smoker rolling. Let the car haters hate. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah. The problem
is
is they talk to the promoter, and he's trying to find a happy place in between. And I understood it.
Sure.
It's just like a dusty night, you know. People don't want to see through the dust, and I definitely didn't want to put anybody in danger, especially the couple of the guys that really can't drive.
Brian, what do we got up there, buddy? That was that's a Davenport.
I don't remember. That might be the no, it's not a purple chassis car. Although I think that's that same first car.
Probably one of my favorite wraps that he had.
I got a car. Tony helped me find. It's X-Line's old car. What's
Randy
X-Line's
Randy X-Line's old car.
It was like his first car.
It was like the first car he ever built.
Yeah.
And that was after that car.
Hey, if you got any questions out there you want to ask, just feel free to punch them in, and we'll get to them as we get to them, and you know, ask our two drivers here anything that you might want to know.
That could be dangerous.
That could be dangerous. That's right. Hey, so you guys, quarter mile, half mile, 3/8 mile. I mean, what was your favorite track? You like running the short tracks, or you like running bigger tracks?
I like the short tracks.
Because?
Because, I mean, half miles are fun, but I crashed pretty bad one time on it, so I was never just a really big fan of it after that.
He's got a little PTSD from the half mile.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Well, I mean, like one of my favorite places, we used to go to Dubuque every Sunday.
Right.
That was fun. I went up there once last year in the sport mod.
Yeah.
And Tipton's always a blast. Fall Bash is always a great time.
Sure.
And
isn't that a good time?
No, it is.
I guess you like to wander a couple of new places because, you know, the car I have now, you can kind of go wherever you want to drive to.
Yeah.
With the outlaw cars, you know, you just can only race a few places.
Now, the outlaw cars, tell me about those. Now, is Davenport and East Moline the only one running the outlaw now, or can you go to Peoria?
You could go to Peoria and stuff, but I call it a little outclassed. They've got a softer, wider tire. They've got bigger motors. You know, they do, I think, run a 2-barrel, but they can drop their trailing arms. I mean, there's just a lot of differences, and obviously you know them little things are a lot.
Make a big difference. Yeah, you know, when you see the guy back in the day, I remember first time I seen somebody moving around their trailing arms. We were out at Bluegrass, and the guy left the victory ramp, and he kind of gassed it up a little bit, and the left rear hiked up. And I thought, okay, now it's in the street stock class. They're moving the trailing arms around, and you know, it's just everybody wants to go fast, so you're going to try to do whatever you can do to get an advantage over, you know, the next guy. Yeah. So hey, I get that. I mean,
it's getting expensive. I think in any class you are, but there's different people that show you that you know it's not all about having the money. Obviously that helps, you know. But
hey, there we go.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Down at Davenport Speedway.
There's a nice
chassis.
Nice win.
Yeah, it was.
So
kind of forgot what them are like.
Come on, Cary. I got faith in you. You know, you're running.
I
mean, with that motor smoking, you're flying out there. And I just thought, man, all you got to do, you know, you're losing horsepower because you're burning so much oil, you know, in with fuel. But you get a good motor in that thing, you're going to be right back.
I feel like I've tried to be a little more aggressive. I've paid attention to the setup on the car a little more this year, which I know Tony Vendresky's kind of beat into me over the years, you know, which I don't follow a lot of times. But I've definitely tried to drive a little more aggressive. I mean, for what I have in that car and trying to compete with these guys, and that's all I try to do. I mean,
a lot of fast guys in that class too.
Some people got to remember,
and guys that they've been racing for a while and know how to drive and stuff. It's that's still my
Jesse
favorite race to
Nolan.
watch.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Struck,
Donnie
Von
Lauk, I
Bresky,
mean,
Donnie
Nick Hickson.
Lauk.
I mean, you can just the
Nick
list goes
Hickson,
on.
I mean,
Jesse
literally, when you
Hickson's
look
crazy
out there
fast
at
when
the
he gets
field
that car
every night,
wound up.
literally anybody could win the feature just about in that field.
Little Jake's getting
Yeah,
there
Jake.
every week too.
Jake kind of took Jake under. He came out a third
Give him
on
a little
Friday.
shout
So
out.
actually, him
Good
and I were his pit crew on Friday. And,
Yeah,
Well, he had a good
also
crew
want
then.
to say
Yeah,
he
he's
lost
helped us
his
for a long time.
mother on Sunday. I just
Oh
wanna
my, sorry to
throw a
hear
big
that.
sorry,
Yeah, it's,
sorry out to him for that.
Yeah, it's always tough. So hey, our thoughts and prayers are with her, and that's always a tough thing.
Yeah.
I've been through that with both mom and dad, both. Hey, best moment in racing. What was a night that you're just like, man, this is can't get any better than this? Yeah.
The year my dad died, I won the Father's Day weekend.
Oh, you are.
And I remember going through, and I just laid her to the hammer down. I hammered down, and I just didn't let up. And I remember going through the checkered flag, just bawling. And then I was like trying to be macho, and I'm like, I'm gonna drive one more lap around to see if I could quit the
crying.
tears.
Get
And
emotional.
I was swallowing, and I remember Phil Anderson, I think, was the first one to greet me outside the car, and then I think I got him a little choked up, and then I was just that was probably my greatest win, I think.
Yeah.
Out of
Father's Day and to win. I mean,
it was
your
just
dad was
my
there
dad
with
just
you.
passed, and he literally went to the races back in the early
back in
days.
the day.
I mean, I remember being a kid, he sat and he came to our shop pretty much every day when he was around, and
What do we got going on up here, Cary?
That's the big buck.
It's one of my little pets.
Yeah.
Actually, that was dinner.
Yeah. I mean, that looks awesome.
Yeah, that's a couple years ago for bow season. That was actually a real good year. My friend Jeremy, the week before, I took him out there, and he shot his first bow kill. I got that on film, and then the next Saturday I went out and shot this one, and then the following day I took my taxidermist out, and it was a crazy week because the other two deer we had never seen before. But
Sure.
that's one of my passions in the off season. Or if the motor breaks again, I'll start shooting my bow early.
Hey, Denise Anderson-Flugel, Cary, says she loves seeing you out there. You always keep it interesting, and good luck when you get back out there. So
yeah, I love them guys, Denise and Mike. I mean, honestly, I give credit to Mike Flugel because the Anderson family kind of took me under their wing when I got into trophy trucks and showed me about. I couldn't have taken a motor out and put it back in. They had all the stuff, the bolts in a bucket. I said, "What's that?" And they said, "Oh, all the bolts for this motor." And the first few times I did, I think I bagged everything and wrote everything down. And but I give a lot of credit to the Anderson family and Mike Flugel for my racing. I think they definitely helped me get along. So
hey, we got
many
a question
props
here for both of you from Lyle Stevens. What advice would you give someone that's looking to get into street stocks?
Call
Tony
Vendreski.
Yeah. Find a sniper chassis.
Yeah, I mean,
outlaw car.
That's what's right. If you're going to be around here and you don't plan on traveling, I'd try to say just to fit in the budget. There is some older sniper chassis that are still good that you can buy.
They pop up all the time.
I mean, it's nothing to go out and spend $6,000-$7,000 on a motor and a car, and if you have the desire and the drive to be competitive.
Yeah.
But just look around. Don't jump into,
whatever.
Always buying a brand new one. And definitely want to
Mm-hmm.
start. If somebody's going to start, make sure the street stock's where you want to be. I mean, sometimes a 4-cylinder, even though that's getting competitive nowadays.
Okay. Hey, now this picture that's up there right now, my brother and I, we've got a place. I mean, we dress up in the black, go out after midnight, and we go hunt the morels because everybody wants to know where there's a hot spot for morels.
This was in the woods.
This was in the woods. That's all you can tell us?
In the woods.
I had a guy ask me one night, he's like, "Hey, Shane, I want to get into this stuff." And he says, can you take me out and show me how to get her done? And I'm like, "No, we got an old farmer on the Illinois side of the river. That's all I'll say." And he's got 90 acres of wood property. And he literally told us, the spot that he always used to go, but now he's in his 80s. And he said, "Hey, here's the key to the gate. Go up to this spot, head west." And he was right, man. We got about 10 foot in the woods, and here's all these morels. So
it's just that competitive thing, I think, for me. And plus, they're delicious.
They
and
are
usually,
delicious.
whoever I go with, and I will take people to my places. If somebody hasn't found anyone, I'll take people with me. And usually, what we do is if there's 2 or 3 of us, whatever we find, we split it evenly between everybody. So because if you've been morel hunting, one guy can literally find all of them.
Yeah. So you guys. You got to bring those to races one of these nights, Cary, and just cook them up for everybody down the pits, huh?
Them, I don't even know when them are from, but pretty much all the mushrooms I have are 8, or I give a lot of them away. I don't
nice
sell any. So.
Yeah. You know, when I went to your Facebook page, Cary, you're kind of an outdoors guy, and I love the hunting thing, and I love the morel thing, and I mean, you know, you got a lot of stuff going on in your life, and you know, and then you got the racing thing going on. Boy, and you're a busy guy.
Pretty busy. I've pretty hyper my whole life.
Oh yeah.
I just don't really like sitting still too much, and I mean, obviously, just find things that I like to do, and as I get older, I'm not a young pup anymore, so I try to just outdo a lot of the younger kids, and
that's amazing.
Stay busy. That's what I tell people.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I'm 62 years old now too, and I was like, man. You know, back in the day, we used to get some scraps up at the racetrack and all that stuff, and now I'm like, man, go fight with the young kids. Burn that energy up on them. Leave me alone. Yeah. And, but what do we got up next, Thomas? See what our next picture is here we can talk about. Oh, hey, there's an old car. And, again, we're looking at Phil Anderson next to you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That might be 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Is it red or is it
all right.
stickers?
You know, in Jeff's Auto Sales, have they always sponsored you, Cary?
Yeah, that's Jeff Struck.
That's Jeff Struck.
He just he loves racing, and you know, just the little things he does. You know, he might throw you some money to get some tires, or let me come down and use his tire machine to flip tires. I mean, anything you really would ask from. But yeah, I'm honestly, some of the sponsors I got are great. Route Construction has been with me since, for the 18, 19 years that I've raced.
I mean, come on. Scotty Harris Route, man, that guy.
He is awesome. They are really helping the racing community. I mean, he's helped tons of racers.
He's probably got 7 cars out there. So, you know, late model, street. I mean, he sponsors them all. Gunchies, I know you eat there a lot.
Yeah, Gunchies. He was a past sponsored. My buddy Eric Ludke, he just sold that. Like I said,
good friend of ours, hunting buddy.
Yeah. Another friend of mine, Midwest Complete Construction. He's always Tony Pauly. He's always been behind our racing program. Vintage Homes at Cary Condon. He builds a great home.
Yeah.
River City Rods and Fabrication. Craig Pickett and Chris Utterback. They're always good. TNT Automotive. I mean, obviously, Sniper Chassis, Snap-on, John Lund. Can't even think of losing names. Obviously, the kids, Aiden, Helena, and Bryce. That's my Tony's kid. Obviously, all my friends, they're a big help on the car. But, yeah, the sponsors are big. I mean, honestly, if the sponsors didn't help us, I don't think I would be racing.
All right. We got Ron Anderson asking. He says, Ron Marks Jr. won the Father's Day race up at East Moline the day after his dad had passed. So, you know, I know it's tough. I know Pat Moore, my sidekick, he's out coaching ball with his son this weekend. But he's got a beautiful shop in Coal Valley, Illinois. It's a 4-acre piece of property. It's got like a 4,000 square foot shop, half of it's living quarters, but it's got stuff. I mean, it's like walking into a museum, just stuff in there. And, you know, he lost his uncle and his dad, which basically, you know, were his racing operation. And then his mother passed. And so for a long time, he didn't go out to that race shop. So, you know, we race slot cars in the wintertime. I don't know if you've ever seen them little cars. They're about like this thing.
I follow you guys.
Yeah, so we're, you know, it's something to do in the winter.
Right.
And so I said, man, we got to put a track out there at your shop, Pat. So all of a sudden we had, you know, 20, 25 people coming out there, and we're racing in the wintertime. And he said, you know, my dad would have really liked that. But, you know, I'm not sure that, you know, when I lost my dad, I remember going out in the race shop the first time, and I went to the racetrack without my dad for the first time. And I remember driving down the road, you know, the pit entrance to the Speedway, and, you know, I lost it. And I had to pull off the side of the road and just kind of, you know, get the emotion out of me so I kind of get back on track and go to the Speedway. But I think racing really is a family affair. Everybody does it, as a family.
My dad, I remember being a kid coming up here and
come on, man,
watching you guys and going to Bluegrass, and of course I was running and playing and not watching the races.
Yeah, that's what you
kid.
do.
But when I remember when I told my dad that I was going to be racing, he was just ecstatic.
He was happy, wasn't he?
And he literally, Ritter remembers, literally, he would just say 3:30, you guys be at a shop, and he would literally come to our shop about every day, obviously, and have a couple drinks, which my mom wasn't supposed to know about.
Oh,
but and it was he sat in the same corner right around there, so it's a little hard there at first, but I think he's still riding with me.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got going on here. Do you have any hobbies other than racing? We kind of covered that with you, Cary. Bryan, what do you got?
Deer hunting. We go deer hunting.
You're a hunter too.
Yeah.
Okay.
We all.
He's a veteran.
Me and him, group of friends. Like our friend Gunchies, Eric Lucky, and another friend of mine's a builder. He's Newton Holmes, Scott Newton. So we got a group of people that go hunting. And
Scotty Harris, he's a hunter.
Oh yeah. He doesn't hunt with us. he's more than welcome to, but he's got all the good spots.
Yeah.
We got a pretty good spot. We got 700 acres up by just past Williamsburg a little bit.
Oh man, that's great. So hey, tell me something that nobody listening right now would know about the two of you. Do you have a hobby that we don't know about, or something you enjoy doing, or all right, guys.
I don't know.
We've talked about everything.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I really pretty much I work a lot, and then I bow hunt in the fall, going into winter.
Football, love football. Steelers, huge Steelers fan.
Okay, Steelers fan.
Oh yeah.
You gotta leave.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sorry.
No, I'm kidding. Man, I love the Steelers. But I'm a Bears fan. But I'm one of those guys too. I'm a Cubs fan. But before 2016, I was a Cubs fan. So hey, if they're losing, it's just part of watching the Cubs. All the bandwagon jumpers have left town now. So I love the Steelers. Brent Pryor is a good friend of mine. He used to race open wheel modified, and he's a big Steelers fan. So we're always
I like the Bears too, but I always had a rival against my dad. Just like NASCAR, my guy was Earnhardt and his was Gordon. So
man,
so that's when
I
became a Harvick fan, because he was on the same team as him.
Sure.
So,
sure. Yeah. Hey, the 81, Cary, where'd that come from?
Well, when I was the trophy trucks, I was 3B, which I
remember
loved.
that.
I liked Earnhardt. I was an Earnhardt fan, and obviously the B for Brown. And then when I moved from the trucks to the cars, there was 3 street stocks at the time that were 3B.
Yeah.
So Dan Anderson was already racing street stock, and he was number 8.
Okay.
So I was kind of looked around, and not really any reason. I seen Dale Earnhardt Jr. One of his cars, I think it was at the time a Bush car or something, was number 81, and I thought 81, and I just thought nobody else has been that number. I just didn't,
It's a good number.
Yeah, I would have liked to have been 3, but at the time obviously you don't want to pick a number somebody else has.
Sure.
So.
What about you, Bryan?
76. That was the year I was born, and it was going to be 98. Well, when I first got into racing, Terry Rittmer raced, and he was 98 T, so I didn't want to. Been too confusing. 98 Rittmer, 98 T Ritter, and then the new car, 0G car is. I always liked Bloomquist, and I just saw it one day and thought it was kind of like a cool number, and really rare to see 2 of those at the track.
Actually, it's not 0G, it's OG for
OG.
original gangster.
No,
it's the original gangster.
It's for fun.
Don't,
it's just fun.
Don't let them kid you.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I thought it was cool.
Cool.
So I just figured I'd change it up.
There you go. We're going to talk about tonight's sponsor again. Thank you once again to Done Right TV and Security for sponsoring this episode. And thank you to the Done Right family once again for supporting the show from the very roots, from the very beginning, as our show is growing. In Suit is expanding as well with a short and decisive sponsor slot through the production of the show. The Done Right family has a wide variety of products and services they offer, from the production backbone that is powering our show right now to smart home, TVs, vehicles, and the ever-expansive list of products that are not limited to internet, security, cameras, and other security equipment. And so give us a call at 355-7490 or visit us right here at the Done Right Studio at 1414 West Locust in Davenport, Iowa. Okay. So let's see. We got any more questions on here, guys? Cary, when Mike Tilley says, Cary, when are you going to move out of street stocks?
You know, I've been asked that for a lot of years.
When you win the lottery?
No, not even that.
You like street stocks?
For some reason, I love this class.
There you go.
Just, it kind of, in my mind, it's like the core racing class of racing. And, I mean, like right now, I mean, look at, you can go to any class and there's a good field of cars that can win. And the street stocks, I mean, some people don't like that there's 6, 7 guys that can come out and win. It's hard to break in it, but I think that makes me a better driver every week.
Sure does.
I mean, you're racing against Tony Vendreskis and Jeff Strucks and Nick Hicksons and
come on,
and I mean, some people get mad and upset, but I just look at it as if I can beat them on a night, which I have. Hopefully this year I can beat everybody and get a win. But it's good to be competitive, and we all got to remember we're there for the fans. So
that's right.
We can do some exciting stuff to get people up on their seats, and that's kind of what it's about.
And I think last year with that COVID, that there's kind of been a rejuvenation of people up in the stands. I remember last year, we got the World Outlaw Show coming up at Davenport, coming up August. I believe it's 26th, 27th, 28th. We'll have it on the Davenport Speedway page, K Promotions. But we had almost a sellout crowd that night, and we went from nobody in the stands and just putting it on pay-per-view with Done Right TV
the
all of a
first
sudden,
couple of weeks.
man, we just packed them in.
Yeah.
So now we still have the TV, and here's what's amazing. I get on there and I take a look at where people are watching from. I mean, we're talking about Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, Missouri, Minnesota, Michigan, Oregon, Canada, Mexico, and Germany. So, I mean, where you would think, okay, we don't want fans staying home and watching and not having them up in the stands, but we all know there's nothing like being at the racetrack.
Oh, yeah.
But what I see is, maybe grandma's got some health issues. She watches, on Done Right TV. And then people across America. I was talking to that guy down in Mexico. He said he used to work out at, what would it be, Genesis Welding Systems. And then he got hired by a company to run their, factory down in Mexico. So he says, the way I get back home is clicking on that every Friday night and, watching the show.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, isn't that cool?
It is. It's definitely,
especially
just in my eyes,
your local home track, you can watch it. And
yeah.
You can watch it pretty much anywhere.
The last few years, it kind of seemed like there was a downtrend in the stands, and and obviously it helps, getting Kai's up here. He's done a tremendous job. I mean, the track has just been great.
And Loader, Sean Loader.
So Sean Loader is definitely
awesome
gunning for us.
And the money he spent.
Yeah, and it helps. And then there seems to be a little more advertising, promotion involved. So I think that helps, and more people are starting to get into it. And I think people are watching. They're starting to share things, and that's why I try to tell my friends. I said, if you're going to go racing, let's share, the Davenport Speedway thing, or if we're over to East Moline, let's share it, and just try to get people I know to, that might want to come watch it. And if everybody does it, and I like it better when the stands are full, because it kind of makes me kind of makes me want to do better. So I don't want to,
doesn't it?
I don't want to. Should say I don't want to suck, So
Well, last year we had the COVID. The first couple of weeks, there's no one in the stands. It's kind of weird. It felt like you were practicing.
It was creepy. Yeah. And I'm sitting up there and I'm talking, and all we had was camera crew and people like that up in the stands. There's probably a total of 5 people, but you didn't have the roar of the crowd.
Right.
And I mean, to me, that gets me revved up, and I know it gets you guys revved up. And we start the night like last week. Hey, for the fans across America, let them know how we do it in Iowa. And I mean, I know you guys can hear it down the pits, but they go crazy.
Well, we know a lot of people like in the beer areas that stand by the fence, and it's amazing. I know Ritter will tell you the same thing. The people that like point you out and wave at you, and, and you wave at them, and I mean, sometimes they kind of get excited, But I think that's a fun part is when somebody in the stands or up there waves, and they're like,
sure.
So I mean, that's what we're there for. We're there to entertain.
That's right.
Put on a show.
Now the new entrance, down at the east end of the property. Where the drive-in movie theater used to be, they're getting that all finished now, and they're going to do something with that ground-up asphalt they dumped over there.
Good.
It'll be a lot smoother because, man, it's rough right now.
It was
I'm
like,
oh, my God.
There last
But it's probably not going to happen by the end of this year, but they're putting an all brand-new sound system in the pit area that will be hooked up to topside where I'm at, so you guys be able to hear the races. You know, hey, if you're down there working on your car and you're like, hey, how's Ritter doing? You'll be able to hear how he's doing. And, you know, I guess Sean Loader's done a lot for that.
It's
always
a great improvement to the place.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Obviously, if you have a nice place, it makes people want to come back, you know. And
hey, that shed, you know, after the race.
Oh, yeah, the bar up there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that is just
good time.
It's not just underneath the grandstands. I mean, that's first class all the way.
Right. It's good to have a promoter that, you know, takes care of the whole facility, but he actually cares about the racetrack too. Yeah. That's huge because before we didn't have that until he got involved. So
man, it's nice.
So he's a good dude for sure.
You figured a couple of weeks ago when it was real dry and hot and the wind's blowing, I thought, oh boy, here we go. But I mean, he was out there, you know, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just dumping water.
I was the opposite of you. I was excited, thinking,
hey,
it's going to be a dry slick. That's what I want. I want everybody to have to race. But,
yeah. Hey, for the fans out there who have never drove a race car, tell them, you know, kind of the routine you go through and you're strapping in that baby and getting out to go to race, and what kind of thoughts are going through your mind when you're getting ready to go out and race.
I'm a nervous wreck. Usually Friday. I mean, he'll tell you. This year I've been trying to kind of almost work myself up, kind of get into the aggressive racing mode, and I'm usually a mess. I don't sit still. I mean, I'm like the tire grinder. I think I ground 9 or 10 tires on Friday night. I do that. I do on my own tires. I mean, I pretty much am real nervous until I get in the car and get strapped in and turn it on, and then it's like everything kind of goes away. And usually I get out and I'm in staging, and I'm usually looking at, you know, I kind of already have an idea who's around me, but I kind of get a visual of the guys around me, and I kind of know what they do, and so I kind of make a little scenario in my head of what I want to do, and I hope everybody does, and pretty much that's kind of how my racing starts. And slap myself in the helmet a couple times.
Yep, definitely do
put my visor down, smack myself in the helmet, and
away we go.
That's pretty much it.
You know, I know no matter what was going through my mind, man, when that green flag dropped, I mean, you like zone everything out. It's showtime. What about you, Brian? Is that
like, you know, you always get the pre-race jitters.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But then once you get into staging, and then you know that you're ready, it's like you said, once you go out there, it kind of all goes away.
Yeah.
And then just go out and have fun. And but like you said, though, kind of, you know who's in front of you, kind of, you know, you wait a minute, you know what they're going to do once you get going, and try to make moves when you can. And but yeah, racing's a blast, and it's the hardest thing ever to quit. Hardest hobby.
Oh, it's like a drug. I'm going to tell you guys right now, even the old guys like me out there, you look out there and I see you guys racing, and it's like, man, I'd like to strap in again. But it's such a disease that when you've been away from it, you know, I stopped racing in, would have been 2000. So you know that if it starts to suck you in, if you get in that car once, I mean, man, you want to be out there, you know, with the guys. And so I admire guys like, I was up in Macokota for that Lucas Oil show a couple of weeks ago announcing that, and Terry Hurst, 77 years old, wins a feature, hadn't drove a car in 30 years, vintage late models. Seeing Webb out there every week. Now, I don't care if Webb's running 5th or if he's running 10th. I think, man, if I'm 72 years old and I can still get out there and do that, because this guy's won it all. Every class, every race. He was on top for a lot of years.
Just like Brenner.
Yeah, Brenner.
He's been racing forever, too.
There's another one.
You know what's crazy about Gary Webb is I used to live in McCausland when I was a kid. And when we were in 4th grade, I moved into town, and I got into BMX racing. I think it's probably 5th or 6th grade, and I was over by Emice Park, and we could hear a race car start. And I would we'd ride our bikes as fast as we could. And it was Gary Webb's house down off Clark Street. I think he lived on Colorado. Okay. And I remember as a kid, I didn't really, you know, I knew it was dirt tracking, but we used to sit out there at the end of his driveway and just listen to him, the car run. And, you know, now looking back, it's kind of ironic, you know, especially as he's still racing. So it's pretty awesome.
Who gave you the edge?
My grandparents lived next door to, you might know who this guy is. His name's Dave Wheeler.
Oh, God.
He used to race a long time ago, so I used to see the car.
The Wheeler brothers.
And then I think his son, Mike, maybe what his name was. He raced for a
little
while, too.
There was 01 and 65 with 2 cars. And then when they raced, open wheel modified, their car numbers, they had the word going which made the number 01 and gone. So they ended up running number 0 and 01. But those guys, were fast back in the day. You see some of these guys, they get fat like me, and they go like, man, how can you even wheel a race car? But back in the day at Davenport Speedway on that half mile, those guys had some wicked fast cars, and they were good people. And so and they paved the way for the guys that are out there today. And when I look at you guys, you're paving the way for the next generation of racers. And it's kind of like you hand the torch off, but you guys still got a lot of years to go before you're going to be handing that torch off, hopefully.
Oh, yeah,
I hope so too. I got kind of last year I kind of lost that little burn, and I got it back this year for sure. I'm fired up. I'm actually not happy about watching the races. Usually if I'm not racing, I have a hard time watching. But the last 2 weeks have been pretty fun being in the pits. I told Jake, I said, you're probably never gonna have a pit crew like this again.
Yeah. All right.
So, yeah.
If you got any more questions out there, we got about a little over 15 minutes left in the show. Be sure and ask us, and we'll get them to Cary and Bryan if you got anything that you need to know. So, what kind of music you listen to, Cary?
I listen to a little bit of everything.
Like to get fired up on the way to the racetrack? Are you a country guy?
No, if I want to get fired up, I'm hard rock.
Okay.
Definitely hard rock.
Yeah. Okay. So. What about you, Bryan?
A little bit of everything, like hard rock, country, some old '90s like rap music's good to listen to sometimes, for sure. I like that Sirius Satellite. Sirius Satellite's awesome. Stuff. Oh yeah, for sure.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No.
Nope.
And then, hey, what about racetrack food? Tell me. I don't never get down to pit to eat that stuff.
Actually,
I'll talk about that because that's my specialty.
Well, he likes to eat. He likes to go.
If you back in the pits, we do. The ladies back there know me pretty good. I like to get I start off the night with a chicken sandwich, and then I put nacho cheese on it.
Oh man,
yeah,
I like that.
A bag of Doritos, and usually a Pepsi. That usually starts my racing night, and then after I race, then I go back and usually get a hamburger with nacho cheese on it, and just makes them a little more interesting than the regular sliced cheese. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah, usually if I'm racing, I really don't eat too much until maybe the end of the night. Yeah, then it's ice cold Busch Light time after the races are over.
If they had steak and chocolate back there, I'd be in the pits all the time.
Oh man, wouldn't that be nice?
Oh, it'd be great.
Oh my God. Yeah. So the rest of the year you're gonna have the number 0 car back out.
Yeah, I've got a new car. It's broken. Just gotta scale it and get this carburetor situation figured out. 2018 and I'll be ready. It's pretty much a newer version of the car I had.
Yeah.
Same number. It's just it's yellow instead of gray now. So
okay,
got the best.
Looking forward to
yeah.
Had a lot of help. Got some good friends that come up and help. Tony helps a lot. Jeff come and help me. Cary helps me a bunch.
Yeah,
Jake helps a bunch.
Have, man.
Yeah, I mean we got just my car and his car in my garage, and then
he's got a nice 30 by 30 shop with heat, and we got
Yeah.
cable, and we used to play some video games out there, but we're pretty much busy now. But
Yeah.
and then Jake actually lives 2 houses over, so his car is right there. So
Oh,
yeah,
geez.
he has
pretty
pretty
much-
street stock.
we got our little, and then Keith don't live too far. Keith and has him and Todd.
Keith Silvers and Todd Dykema. And then
Now, hey, what about Boone, Iowa, the IMCA Super Nationals? Have you guys ever went up that way?
I went to Boone on a Friday night back when the kid was won the Little League State Championship.
Okay.
I went with Chris Stein. You
right,
remember him. His boy was playing on the same team, but that's the only time I've been to Boone, and it was probably one of the best Friday nights of racing that I ever seen.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even the Boone Nationals, but I would love to go. I'd love to go see it.
Man, you got to go. And then talking about that, the best racing up there, and I'm an old modified guy, I run mods and late models, but the best show up there is the IMCA stock cars. Man, them guys put on a show.
I would love
You get a field full of cars, door to door. They're not tearing each other up. And it really is the best show out there.
that was what's cool about seeing Bristol. That all these guys out of Iowa that were successful.
Man.
I mean,
I know.
There
makes
were
me
different
finally
classes,
want to
too.
get into an IMCA car.
Yeah.
I've been kind of stubborn about it, but it was like,
Yeah. So what do you
that'd be
think,
cool.
Cary? You talk about that. Next year, I mean, hey, the promoter of the racetrack built a son an IMCA stock car.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's kind of sends a message that, maybe, at some point in time, maybe not next year, but at some point in time, we're going to be running stock cars over there. What do you think?
I think it'd be a bad move because of the other tracks that are running the stock cars.
Yeah.
Plus, there's 3 or 4 street stocks that aren't even out yet, plus mine.
Yeah.
That guys bought that are working on. So Plus the UMP, they're allowing the UMP guys, so a lot of days off, like the East Moline tracks.
Right.
A lot of them Sundays, we're getting guys we've never seen before.
Right, and I've been out there, and I've said, my God, this guy, they're coming from, fair distance away.
Yeah, a couple hours.
We had a guy up there from Indiana racing with us. And,
yeah, won a feature over there.
Street stocks with pull bars and all kinds of.
It's pretty much a sport mod with a stock car body on it.
It's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
So since I'm kind of out of touch on this stuff now, so what would you have to do to convert your car to an IMCA car?
Probably.
I don't know if you really could.
Literally, you got to dial some stuff back, or what do you think, Cary?
I know the tail, like a lot of the tail on a lot of the new cars, you have to have the frame past the rear. Past the rear hump. I know that's one thing. Some of the new cars, I don't think have that.
You gotta have like a steel floor pan, steel firewall. Motor's got to be
there's a lot of stuff.
A lot of changes.
A lot of motor. I mean, obviously we were running open motors, so pretty much.
And the nice thing about Davenport is, we're getting, we get like 15 a night, but when you start talking about, okay, we got 3 cars that ain't done yet, and you're out smoking, so, I mean, you're talking about, you have 18, 19 cars, which is full field of cars, when everybody gets out there.
Right. Plus, you got a couple guys that had issues and engine troubles have wrecked, and they're getting back out again, so they'll be back out. There's always been
street stock class hasn't been too riddled with cautions, which I like.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a few people that consistently spin out in hot laps, heat race, and features.
They are.
But like you said, it's so competitive. I mean, it's a great class.
I mean, they've always had a good car count in Davenport and East Moline, and like Dubuque when we first started many years ago, they had outlaw cars up there too, and then they went to IMCA stock cars, which IMCA stock cars are awesome too. That's what I told him he should try to get, and eventually. And but I don't be a lot of cars around here that would be like starting over again if you had to do all that to them to change them.
Bruce Fosdick says, "Get back out there and win one, Cary."
Thanks, Bruce.
What else we have going on? Bruce Fosdick. I'm 60 years old, and I think I need another car. So
let's go, Bruce. Come on.
And Bruce also said, "Hey, keep the open class." And you guys say that. I mean, you got like, Jeff Struck and Tony Von Dresky and Hickson and go down the line.
Owens and all
those guys, they're running high, low. They're putting on a show, and like you said, you guys ain't out there spinning out, causing a lot of restarts. You put on a show. And I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we didn't know if Hickson had it or if Struck had it. And all of a sudden, Von Dresky come out of nowhere. I seen Struck up there battling with Hickson. And I thought, okay, it's going to be a Struck-Hickson show. And all of a sudden, here comes Tony.
Anytime Tony Von Dresky's on the track, he's
a threat.
He's a threat to win. I mean,
he's
honestly,
all those guys
6-7 cars
are wheel
are
man
a threat
for sure.
to win. Besides,
all those
I'm
guys
hoping.
are fast.
I'm trying to get myself back into that class of cars, but it's fun. Like I said, I really enjoy racing with them guys. They think they bring me the better racer out of me.
Yeah. And do you guys have a favorite track you like running at?
It's
change year, or what do you think?
I really, when we went up to Dubuque, I think it was 09 back in there, I really liked Dubuque, the wide corners, but Davenport I always struggled with a little, and I really liked East Moline. Now that Davenport's kind of reconfigured a little bit, I'm kind of leaning back towards Davenport, but something about East Moline just draws me in. I don't know what it is. Everybody's like, "You're stupid." I'm like, I love that track. I don't know what it is. It's just I think maybe it's the wall gives me some kind of guide or guideline of where to set it or what, but I just me and that track just kind of mesh.
And a lot of people would say, I used to ask people when I was promoting up there, "Why don't you come to East Moline?" And they'd say, "Well, it's that wall." And I'm like, dude, it's just just don't drive it in the wall.
Yeah,
that's how that works.
Yeah,
the
closer you are, the less it hurts when you hit it.
Yeah, and you're right. And boy, the place be up there a lot of times, right up there next to the wall.
Yeah. I remember one year I drove up on the wall twice in the same corner.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Remember that? Literally drove up on the wall, came down, got back on the gas, drove right back up there, and it's like, woof.
But for me, Davenport's always a home track. Even if I'm not driving, I'll still be there every Friday night, And Tipton, I like Tipton a lot too. I've always had fun up there.
It's a good track. That track's always in good shape.
For the specials, I remember they used to race their Fridays too. So if it get rained out here, we'd shoot up there and
Davenport's definitely just the kind of reconfigured that track. It's definitely made it racy where, obviously you'll get people complain anytime, but it seems like there's multiple lines. If you watch the big guys race and the late models, it seemed like multiple lines are working, which I like, because obviously you can't pass anybody following them.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah, and over the years they've done a wonderful job of, they put in the new fence and put in the new scoreboard and put in the new bathrooms and rebuilt.
Sean and the Fair Board is just they've definitely stood behind racing. I know when they were having problems with the last promoter, which I liked, but they were having problems with it. Sean just pretty much stood his ground, said, "I'm with the racers, and this is the way it's going to be," and it worked out for us. I mean, I didn't want to see racing kind of die here, because you see tracks, you see the tracks slowly closing.
Having Ricky and Brenda take over the place, the tracks always prep good, and
the one thing about
super nice people.
You guys look out there on a racetrack around a half mile. They got and those John Deere tractors, $250,000 a piece. He's got 4 of them out there. Yeah. Like, oh my God. And then when we were getting ready to run a half mile show, he said, well, what's the problem with this thing always drying out? And I said, well, when you got a little water truck that only holds 1,000 gallons of water, I mean, you could water like a quarter of the track. And the proper way to do it, is you go around our island. You don't go out there at 40 mile an hour because you aren't saturating the track. Yeah. And so the next day, Ricky shows up, and he's got a semi-tractor trailer with a tanker trailer on that thing. And, I mean, we filled that thing up, and, my God, you water a lot of dirt with that thing.
Oh, yeah, so
it helps when you got the equipment.
Yeah, exactly. I questioned, I think my last week there, I kind of questioned right before we were the first feature that night, and I was like, perfect. We set our car up for the track, and then they came back, and I was in the car, and they're watering it. Yeah, and I was like, I was kind of questioning that. Man. I was kind of questioning that. Yeah. But after we packed it, and after we got through that first lap, the track actually really was nice. Yeah. So I mean, it definitely helped, and that's the stuff we need. And I remember back in the day, you probably remember, they used to have everybody pack the track. You used to get 2-3 people jump in your car, and nobody wore helmets. You just go out and pack the track, and kind of miss
like
$2
a gallon back then for racing fuel. It was good old days. I remember sitting over there at Davenport running the quarter mile, and we'd look down there. Back when the drive-in theater was down at the east end of the racetrack, and they had trees right through turn 3 and 4. And some nights I think there was more people sitting in the trees than were up in the stands. I mean, everybody sneak in over there to the drive-in, and then they'd climb up a tree and watch the races. So my heart, like I say, I'm 62. I spent my whole life over there at Davenport Speedway in East Moline, so that's where I remember, Mom and Dad taking me, and that's where all my fond memories are at. God, I remember back in '87, Kenny Schrader was driving for Junie Dunlobby, the number 90 Red Baron Pizza car, and so Red Baron Pizza flew in a biplane with Kenny Schrader on it, and they landed that thing out on the half mile, and he jumped out, and the Red Baron dude jumped out with a scarf on, and he climbed the late model and went racing. So it was.
We need to get some stuff like that down here.
Well, I remember we met Kenny Wallace one year, many years ago, over in East Moline, and
great
Kenny's
dude.
super cool.
Yeah. So I think we need more of that. I mean, with the web race, it was rained out Sunday up at East Moline. They were going to have Kenny Schrader.
Okay. I met him over there before.
He's been at Davenport a couple times.
Yeah, actually, that was him. He was at the fairgrounds, I think, a couple years ago.
He's been at Davenport.
And
last year a couple times.
He just come up, started talking to you, like, I was just like,
he went to the bar.
Kind of starstruck for a second, like, this is Kenny Schrader. Yeah. And he's just talking about how's the track and how's this, and
kind of a racer like everybody else.
Oh yeah,
well, he is.
It was fun though.
All right, well, hey, we're going to talk about tonight's sponsor again here. Once again, thank you to Done Right TV and Security for the amazing support for your television and internet, video production, smart life, and security specialists. You need to give a call to Done Right TV. They're right here in Davenport, Iowa, 1414 West Locust Street. Phone number is 563-355-7490. Stop over at the Done Right store right next to our studio we're in right now. So as we wrap this thing up, guys, is there any sponsors you want to plug or anybody you want to talk to that's maybe out there listening?
Well, obviously, Done Right TV for having us here tonight. Sure. Obviously, you, Shane, and the couple tech guys in here that are helping to work the show out. But I think I said my sponsors, River City, Relk, a lot of good guys there.
Yep. Want to thank Tony Von Dresky.
Definitely Tony.
From Sniper Chassis. Jeff Struck from Jeff's Auto Sales. John Lund from Snap On.
Yep, John, he's definitely a
good guys.
Yeah, good,
Chance
good
Houston
sponsor.
at CI
CI
Signs. It used to
yeah.
be Showtime.
He does
now
all our
CI
stickers,
Signs, so get a hold of
our
me if you
wraps.
need some wraps.
Chance just said, Cary Brown is my hero.
Yeah, I love
Right
Chance.
after that, we
I love
just
Chance.
we just.
I'm glad he's all right
surprised.
after last week.
Oh my
Oh
God! I
yeah,
can
that's
believe
terrible.
that.
I hope you're.
so
Yeah.
glad he's all right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
did the
like
flame
It's
out of the
horrible.
car.
I don't get to watch the races a lot because when I'm racing, I literally am grinding tires. So I was telling Terry Renfro and Todd Dykema last week. I said, "This was an awesome night." I said, "I got to watch everybody race." I seen some horrific wrecks last week,
Oh,
and
man.
the one with
it's
Chance,
up there.
you obviously I don't like seeing anybody wreck, but when you know somebody, it's just like, oh, and then you see the ambulance come, and it's just, and we can't hear back there, so luckily we heard the crowd cheer, so that's kind of he's okay.
Yeah.
He's
So,
doing okay.
Yeah, so that was good.
Car rolled too. Yeah.
Yeah, and last year up at the Super Nationals, that guy's fuel cell coming out.
Yeah,
and
that was
on
weird.
his,
That's crazy.
right in front of his windshield. It's
Yeah.
like, my God, that thing went. It happened so fast. I just seen the fire, and I'm like, my God, I didn't know if you broke a fuel line or what happened.
You wouldn't think something like that would fall out.
I mean, come on, how does that happen?
Yeah, even if the car rips in half.
No, I'm not going to beat up the tech guys, but how do you go through tech?
Yeah, especially someplace like that.
We're at the Boone Super Nationals. They got big tents. They're rolling you through there.
Yeah,
They're
it's
like,
they had duct tape
pulling
on
your
or something
axles
holding
out,
it in.
and but it happened.
Yeah.
I guess Randy Anderson was telling me that the guy had real lightweight tubing on there, and I guess the guy who put it in there wasn't too good a welder because with the fuel cell attached was all the framework that was supposed to be welded to the tail, and you could see nothing was penetrating.
Must have been me welding it.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
Definitely me, I
my
can't
welds
see.
are ugly, but they
hold.
They hold.
Just use a lot of heat.
We practiced when we bought that welder. I thought it was a coup. We practiced for hours, just welding on shovels, anything metal. But like I said, with stock car, it don't have to be pretty. I'm going to cover it up anyway. So.
Yeah, just put a lot of paint on it. Hey, so Cary, when can we expect you back?
Well, I might be working out a deal to put a loaner motor in my car. We'll see if that works out.
Okay.
And if not, we're going to see, because the problem is, again, parts, because we're going to have to bore this block out to put some bigger pistons in there. So just as long as we can get all the parts. I mean, realistically, within a couple weeks, if I get a loaner motor. If not, could be a month. I mean, I'm not real sure. I'm gonna enjoy myself. I've been having a blast in the pits helping these guys. It's kind of forgot what kind of fun that is. And I go home. I literally went home Friday night, and I was just like, why can I not pick my arms? I was just so tired. And I was just
It's hot out too.
I ground tires all night, but it was fun. It was fun, and all our cars really did good that night. And
had a good run.
yeah, so kind of fun being in that spot again.
What about you, Brian?
I'm hoping to be out this Friday. I hope.
All right.
Just
I'm gonna try to help him get out this
carburetor
Friday.
thing, 'cause
So.
otherwise I'm on vacation next week, so no matter what, I don't care if I gotta drive a couple hours away and buy a carburetor. I'll figure it out. So.
Good.
Yeah. So if anybody's got a sport mod carburetor, Bryan Ritter is looking for
602.
one.
Crate car.
602 crate carburetor. So we're just trying to get him out. I mean, that's
Yeah.
literally the only thing we tried putting another carburetor on there
Yeah, it just wouldn't
to
work.
break the motor in, and it was just
Didn't even work.
No, it was an old Holly, and
Been waiting for
just
the-
You got to buy the crate stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just
Well,
gotta-
we've
so
been
he
waiting
already
for
bought all brand new stuff, crate and stuff. So just spend the money, get
Do
a
it
nice,
right.
get a nice
Well, we're just
one.
waiting on the part for my carburetor that will work for it that came with it, but it's been
Now,
a month.
Jake Morris, he ran, Sport Mod, and so he got rid of his car and all that stuff, and he piecemealed it. He might have a carburetor. He might get hold of Jeff
Okay.
Morris or
Nice.
one of them guys.
That's why I
Yeah.
figure the internet's crazy
Somebody
when you
did.
need something.
You
Well,
know.
it's just been a weird year. It's hard to get things, and they
I heard
normally
tires
never
right
have to
now.
worry about-
Tires,
tires are getting
nobody
hard
has
to
tires.
find.
Somebody
Tires,
today put a
motors.
picture of like 6 tires. I think it was
Yeah.
Dakota. I think he put a picture of a bunch of tires in the back of his truck, and I seen a bunch of vultures on there. Like, hey, where'd you get that?
Yeah.
Get yourself
So
$200
it's
a tire.
strange. I guess we used up all of our stuff last year when no one was working. I guess. I
Yeah,
don't know.
there you go.
Get people back to work.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be back again Monday night. 7 o'clock will be our time. And I want to thank our guests on here, that Bryan Ritter and Cary Brown. Great show, and we hope you enjoyed it out there. This is Shane Davis saying God bless each and every one of you. I'll be seeing you around the trail. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, America.